we have Daniel Harris speaking on behalf of
Miss.
Forgive me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Brilliant. So she's listening or watching as well, I think, from at home. But our family are vulnerable. We have been placed in emergency accommodation hostels in Brighton and Eastbourne. We were placed in unaffordable temporary accommodation. That's 8 times in 4 years. My neighbours, both sides, have security and affordable council home, paying less than £400 per calendar month. I am Seaside Community Homes resident. The rent I pay is £276 per week, same property as my neighbours. We are in massive arrears due to the benefit cap. We can't bid now. We are trapped. This month we have £79 to live off. £853 is taken away just for the benefit cap. And then there's another £1,176.69 rent. So their question is, you define this as a suitable placement under homelessness policy. Can you explain how you expect us to live and survive on £79 a month? We are 2 adults and 3 children.
Thank you very much, and I am very sorry to hear about this situation. The benefit cap has caused us a lot of difficulty. It really does, and I think it's something that we're going to raise later, actually, Daniel. You're quite correct. Now, I understand that your household, the household you're talking about, are currently being supported by council officers. Is that correct?
They're not. Kind of yes and no. They obviously, to get into that situation in the first place, they're not feeling that well supported. Hence the reason they've come to me.
Okay, well, I think then we need to look at that support and offer some further support. I think is absolutely necessary. So we have asked senior officers to review this case and advise me on the progress, and so that I can keep an eye on it and see what's happening, and of any more general lessons, because this is probably something that's happened to other people with the benefit cap. We can learn. Because we can learn and we can improve our services to vulnerable households in our emergency and temporary housing. It is something that is very dear to me and something that we do want to work towards. Now, I don't want to go into details of a case in a public meeting because of vulnerabilities and sensitivities. It wouldn't be fair. But I will be happy to meet outside of this arena if that helps.
Perfect. She just wanted a voice.
Okay, that's absolutely right and quite correct too. In more general terms, the rents for Brighton and Hove seaside community homes are aligned with, as you know, the local housing allowance rates. Now, the benefit cap was introduced by the government and is administered by the Department of Work and Pensions. So unfortunately, we have little control over it. However, it is something that we are looking at and perhaps may benefit from some lobbying, because it is a particular issue that a lot of people are having to deal with, isn't it? Now, we do support households with rent, universal credit and related issues through our credit control services and our family coach and our welfare support team. And I know this is available, but however, from what you're telling me, we really could do with providing much more in-depth support and much more quickly to avoid rent arrears. We want to avoid rent arrears because I do understand once you get into rent arrears, it's just incredibly difficult to get back out of them. So I think what we need to be working on here is finding a way where we can step in much more quickly. You know as well as I do, and I know the committee knows and the public knows, that there is a distinct lack of housing in Brighton. So sometimes we don't have the choices we want, perfect for people. But what we can do is work better and quicker towards getting that choice right in the first place. And we will endeavour to do that. I'm not saying we're going to manage it all together, but this is something that we will work towards. Do you have a supplementary?
No, that'll be fine. No, that'll be absolutely fine.
Thank you very much for bringing these cases to us. It was I could see that that was quite difficult for those people to come forward, and I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Oh, Daniel Harris, do you have another question? I believe.
Yeah, so this is for me.
Okay.
This is me personally.
Okay, right. Okay, off you go.
So obviously, can I just welcome the new plans for the extra in-house services such as peer place, which has been mentioned. Us campaigners, we'd originally identified this building about 4 years ago, and it's something that we've really encouraged and wanted to happen. So that's good news. I've had a lot of issues reported to me from residents living in privately run emergency accommodation, just like you heard before from Megan, in and out of the city. And the incidents that I've had really during the COVID crisis include serious assaults, security concerns, reports of drug dealing and county lines, a death in William Collier House, and a revenge eviction, as we've heard before. The feedback from residents is they feel isolated, neglected and alone. So my question is, the feedback from the Kendall Court Health Watch report is clear. Better facilities, more support and faster pathways into more secure and settled accommodation are needed. So can the council tell me what they have learned from those reports and residents' feedback?
Okay. Thank you for that question. I think you've sort of answered the question I asked earlier actually on that one. How can we go forward? And it is really important that we take that on board. Okay, so I do share your concerns around any negative feedback from residents, and I do take it seriously. By way of update on our future approach to provisions of emergency accommodation, with regard to contracted emergency accommodation, prior to the COVID emergency, we were about to go into procure new contracts as our current contracts are coming to an end.
Yeah.
And following, feedback such as this and member concerns, our specifications have been greatly enhanced to provide for more self-contained accommodation and to ensure additional services such as free Wi-Fi, crockery, cutlery, access to laundry facilities, and they should be provided as standard. There is some new investment funding, 300k, I do believe, was agreed from this financial year to support this service level, to improve that. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, procurement itself has been delayed, but we are beginning to get back on track with that, and as soon as we're able to continue, we will continue with this re-tendering process. I am pleased to tell you that the council are proceeding with, as I mentioned earlier, of course, purchasing accommodation that will be run and managed itself by short-term emergency accommodation. That will be council run. So we are working towards bringing these facilities in-house. Now we're aiming to complete the purchase of this development. I think we're actually nearly there. I don't know whether Martin might be able to come in on this, and is there any further details we can give out right now? All right. Yeah.
We are looking to complete our purchase in the early autumn. We got approval at Policy and Resources Committee to proceed with purchase, and we've just been taking that forward, and that's for 38 units self-contained short-term emergency accommodation at Gladstone Court.
That's lovely. Thank you very much. So that's confirmed. That's where we are up to now. So some of those units will be longer-term temporary accommodation, and some used as emergency housing. It won't replace the need to contract private accommodation at this time, just simply because of the scale of homes that we need in this city. But that's our direction, so we're going in the right direction. Do you have a supplementary?
Yes, so can I just quickly also just welcome the Homeless Reduction Board as well. This is very similar to the Emergency Accommodation Board that FREC tried to get in a few years ago, so it sounds like it's in the right direction. But just quickly, have you heard about Southwark Council? They've just built a 70 unit women's and children's hostel, very good quality, self-contained. I'm wondering what sort of plans we've got for women and children internally, locally. Well, we've had promises previously. I'm just wondering, is there anything on the horizon in terms of this?
Okay, Sylvia, would you like to answer that question?
Okay. So what the strategy is around is about how we intervene and prevent and find a solution for people who become homeless quite quickly. The accommodation that we're looking to have going forward is more self-contained, completely self-contained. So in terms of, there won't be any shared facilities. So in terms of having units specific for us, for a certain gender or a certain type, we've sort of veered away from doing that at this stage, because there's a whole other issue around with it, and people can be targeted. So that's the direction that we've taken.
Okay, thank you, Sylvia. Do you have any further supplementary?
Just for a quick interjection, I mean, if you're looking at the point of the Homeless Reduction Board, I heard you say before about people with lived experience, stuff like that. Let's not make that decision yet. Let's not make that decision now. Let's actually work to what this Homelessness Reduction Board is, what the terms of reference are going to be. Get in the service users, those with lived experience. Then let's see where we go with these sorts of things. Let's just hold off on where we're going with things, because we know things have changed. And what COVID has highlighted is that we do need to change the system locally, because had we have done what a lot of people were asking to be done years ago, we would have been in a much more stronger position, much stronger. And that's where I want to leave it. But thank you so much for your answers.
Well, thank you very much for that, Daniel. That's much appreciated.